So today I want to talk about full-time van life essentials. The 15 things that I would never van life without. Hello beautiful humans and welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new here, my name is Tori and this is my tiny home on wheels. Let's go! If you guys haven't yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss any more videos from me because I have a lot of great content coming up and I'm so excited. So if you don't want to miss any of those videos coming up, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now and the bell next to it. That way you never miss another post. Okay. I have personally been living in a van for 2 years now. As of a couple of weeks ago, actually, we moved into our very first van build on September 1st of 2018. And there are a couple of things along the way that we have purchased that have made van life so much more comfortable and so much easier for us. So today I wanted to share all of those items with you guys. That way, if you are living in a van or are looking to live in a van, you'll have kind of an idea of what kind of things are super helpful to have and make sure that you have them before you head out on your next adventure. Since I just made a latte, I figure we could go ahead and start with my first full-time van life essential, which is my muggie. I don't really know how we started calling them that, but in this house, these little mugs are called our muggies. That's kind of how we differentiate them from the other coffee mugs that we have. The reason I love this particular mug so much, it is a thermos mug, so it keeps my coffee super hot for quite a while because I tend to just make them and let them sit and not drink them until they're like super cold. So this has been helping me avoid that. But they also come with these super great little travel lids and we absolutely love them. So in the morning when we make our coffee, we'll usually head out of wherever we slept that night. The lid on the mugs helps us from having any spills while we're driving. Josh has one of these as well. Another great thing about these mugs is they are not breakable. Let me just tell you this now, anything glass is probably not a good idea. As you drive, things bang around in your cabinets. When you open cabinets, things may or may not fall out depending on how efficiently you put them away. I speak from personal experience. This happens almost every single time I open the kitchen cabinet. Something is jumping out at me. So it has just all around been better to avoid breakable items. I'm such a sucker for coffee cups, but ceramic mugs just break so easily and this has been a super great alternative. Also great for taking a warm beverage on a hike, things like that. Very versatile, very outdoorsy friendly. Probably one of my favorite things that I own, to be honest. Okay, so number 1 was the muggie. Moving on to number 2. The second item I would absolutely never van life without is a spray bottle. I know you're all thinking, but Tori, you have that beautiful sink in your kitchen. Why don't you just use that? The faucet in our kitchen is absolutely great and it works wonderfully, but leaving the faucet running does waste a lot of water. So Josh actually picked us up a spray bottle. We use the spray bottle to do all of our dishes. I use it to wash my face. Anything along those lines, we will opt to use the spray bottle instead of the faucet purely to save water. It does look and feel a little bit funny spraying yourself in the face with a spray bottle to wash your face at night, but we are running on a very limited water supply. We only have a 16-gallon water tank that the two of us and Haley go through quite quickly. So any way that we can find to save water has been a super huge game changer for us. Number 3, I'm sure a lot of other van lifers would agree with me on this one, but I would absolutely never van life without a headlamp. While we do have a solar setup in this build, when we do head off grid and out of the city, these are absolutely wonderful for letting Haley out in the morning or in the evening. If anything were to ever happen with our power, we have backup light sources, sunrise hikes, sunset hikes, honestly, you never really know when you might need one, and we've used them a lot more than I thought that we would. So we actually have 2 of these, so Josh and I both have one. They have like multiple settings and they're adjustable. I just got these at Walmart. Super, super handy. The next full-time van life essential that I highly recommend to anyone living in a van, full-time or not, is a shovel. Previously, we did purchase a toilet for this van, which we have since parted with. The porta potty we ended up buying, while it was nice for a week or two, ended up being quite stinky, and that has since been removed from our build, so the toilet is gone. But anyway, back to what I was talking about. The shovel. This one is super nice because it is collapsible, so it saves us a lot of space, super compact. Anytime that we are camping off-grid, we are on national forest land and we do primitive camping, which means there are no restrooms. So the shovel comes in handy for that purpose, as well as, you know, just in case you get stuck. Josh and I, on one of our first trips in our first van, actually did end up getting stuck in the snow up in the mountains. I believe we were in Tennessee, and we had to dig ourselves out in the snow with this tiny shovel. So the shovel has proven to be super useful on multiple occasions, and there are a lot of different uses for it. I do absolutely love the collapsible design of this one, and I highly recommend it. I will link all of these products in the description box below in case any of you guys are interested in snagging any of these for your own vans or maybe just your camping gear. So the next thing I want to talk about as far as full-time van life essentials go is our bug net. This has been a more recent addition for us. I originally didn't understand why we would need one so badly, and once we started camping, especially up in Michigan, the mosquitoes are horrible. The mosquitoes out here are pretty gnarly. Mosquitoes are pretty swarmy. Hang out inside because there's a lot of mosquitoes up here, and I just don't want to get any more bites today. And the bug net has made everything so much more enjoyable. We were having to keep that door closed just so we didn't have bugs in the house. So the bug net allows me to have that sliding door open like I love and not have to wear bug spray. I really hate DEET and I hate being sticky more than anything else. It is on my list to actually get another bug net for the back doors as well. We absolutely love them, especially since we don't have windows. Having those doors open when we are out in nature is super important to me. Next on my list of full-time van life essentials is our booste. Discreetly tucked up on the shelf here, there is an antenna mounted on top of the van, and then the one tucked on the shelf here. There are a couple of reasons why I added this to my essentials list. The interference of the metal of the van can oftentimes cause really horrible cell service when we are inside the van, and this also does help boost the signal around the vehicle as well. I wasn't sure that this would even make that big of a difference, but it really does. Even from one side of the van to the other, the closer I sit to this signal booster, the better my phone works. The other reason that I decided to put the boost on my full-time van life essentials list is for safety purposes. When we do go out camping, we do prefer primitive camping, like I mentioned before. If you guys are curious a little bit more about where we park and how we find primitive camping, I will link that video on the screen above for you guys. When we do go out primitive camping, there are a lot of cases in which we wouldn't typically have cell phone signal at our campsite. And I understand that we don't need to be on our phones all the time, and I do very much enjoy checking out of my phone and losing signal and immersing myself in nature. But for safety reasons specifically, having just one bar enables you to call and ask for help if you need it. You never know when your engine's gonna break down, if you get stuck somewhere like Josh and I did in the snow, and you can't dig yourself out with a tiny shovel. I always feel more safe and secure knowing that I have a way to call for help if I need to. And that is the main reason that I have put the boost on my essentials list. We did install the boost after we finished our build, so you guys can see we've got this exposed cord here. which does bother me a little bit. I wish we had factored that into our build originally so that it would be hidden behind the wall. If you guys are curious in hearing about all the other mistakes we made with our van build, I will link the 5 things I would change about our van up above for you guys. You can go ahead and give that a watch. Making van build mistakes is almost kind of inevitable, but the more planning and research you do, these kinds of things can be avoided. So I hope that through sharing these with you guys, you can avoid making some of the very silly mistakes that we did. Moving right along. The next item on my list is our vent fans. In our first van build, I personally didn't think that these were essential, and we did not put one in our first van, and I have never regretted a decision so much in my life. In our current van build, we actually have 2 vent fans, and I freaking love them. It helps us regulate temperature so much, and I cannot recommend them more highly. Please, if you're building a vent fan is the way to go. We love them. Wonderful. We actually went with 2 different models in this fan. So we have one standard fantastic fan and the airflow blows out. And then the other fan that we have, actually we got the one step fancier, or like the next model up, I guess you could say. We can switch the direction of the fan to blow in or out. This allows us to create really great airflow. Overall, it has just really improved the air quality, the temperature, all of those sorts of things, and I cannot recommend it enough. Again, all the stuff that I'm talking about I will link in the description box below for you, so head down there to check it out. And while we're on the subject of temperature control, vent fans are absolutely great in the summer, but in the winter when we get cold, we've got a Mr. Buddy. Hasn't quite cooled down enough for me to go to storage and break out Mr. Buddy this year yet, so I will go ahead and pop up a picture of him on the screen for you guys. We don't just call him that, although I could see why you guys might think that. The product name itself is Mr. Buddy, and he is one of my best buddies, let me tell you. So basically this is just a compact portable propane heater that we use in the winter time to heat our van. There are more permanent and fixed diesel heaters available that can be installed on vans like this one, but we loved our Mr. Buddy so much in our last van that we decided to just keep on using that in this van and opt out of doing an S-bar heater. I know some people have safety concerns regarding having a propane heater in a small space like this, but our space is highly ventilated since we have 2 vent fans. And we did also insulate this build very thoroughly, which I think is super important in any van build. Insulation can save you a lot of trouble down the line, especially since we do live somewhere that it does get rather cold in the winter. With the Mr. Buddy, we will turn it on for around 10-15 minutes max at a time, and then we'll turn it off, and that very much efficiently heats the entire van. And because of the heavy insulation that we did, the van will stay warm for quite a while. So we just kind of turn the Mr. Buddy on and off as needed. We don't ever leave the Mr. Buddy running when we're sleeping. Take those precautions to make sure that your space is ventilated and you're not having any propane leaks, anything like that. But as far as a very small and pretty cheap way to go about heating a van, the Mr. Buddy has treated us so well over the years. The next thing I wanted to talk about in regards to full-time van life is our solar panels. Because this is our full-time home, having some sort of power source was very important to us. And while I know that there are other options available, such as generators and battery banks, we actually did go with solar panels on both of our vans, and I have absolutely zero regrets about it. It's so neat to be able to flip your light on and not have to worry about paying an electric bill, and know that all of the energy that you're using is coming from the sun, which is already shining anyway. While they are a pretty steep initial investment, I personally think it was well worth the money. When Josh and I had a condo, we were paying around $100 a month in electric, over time it pays for itself, and it's a great way to allow you to bring more luxuries that you would find in a home into a van. So we use our solar to power all of our lights, we have outlets and a fridge, a water pump, and it makes this van function so much more like a traditional home. We have purchased all of our solar panels through Renogy, and I highly recommend that company. I will leave their website and the particular bundles in the description box. If you have any more questions about our solar setup or anything like that, please feel free to drop a comment in the comment section down below, and myself or Josh, if it's a particular technical question, will get back with you, because I know that going into our van build, the solar aspect and the electrical aspect was one of the things that I was a little bit more stressed about. But after having 2 vans, both with solar, I absolutely would never go any other way. Like I mentioned before when we were talking about the booste, sometimes even with all of the measures that we take to improve our chances of having signal, there are some places where you're just not going to. So this next van life essential, I didn't really realize how important it was until we started going off-grid a little bit more. I highly recommend for anyone thinking about van life or currently living in a van that you have a physical map of some sort. There has been so many times when my GPS has either cut out, tried to leave a campsite, not really know where we were heading next, that we didn't have signal to pull up the GPS on our phones. This one in particular was actually the guest book at my bridal shower, so I have lots of personal little notes in here that people have left for me, and we have used this quite a bit more than I was ever expecting. Alright, number 11. The 11th thing I absolutely would never van life without are our 2 camping chairs and our pack-away table. While we do have very comfortable seating and a table in the van, sometimes when you're out camping, it's just nice to sit outside. I love being able to sit on my porch with my husband and enjoy the outdoors comfortably without having to sit on the ground. So, absolutely would never van life without camping chairs and a table. I did actually consult Josh while I was making this video if there was anything in particular that he would never van life without, and the one thing that he said that was not on my list is his axe. So we do keep an axe in the van at all times. Josh is usually able to collect enough free firewood using his axe to build us fires on the cheap, because we're van lifing on a budget here, guys. The 13th thing that I think is absolutely essential for van life, full-time or not, is a front window shade. Although we have heavily insulated the back of our van and installed a pocket door, when the sun beats through that front window, it can get really hot in a vehicle very fast. Honestly, just any car, probably good to have, especially in the summer. Definitely a van life essential. The 14th thing that I personally think is absolutely essential for van life is our pocket door. In our first van build, we actually were not able to access the cab without getting out of the van from the back, which made stealth camping in the city a little bit more tricky for us because we did have to get out and back in quite often. Getting in and out and slamming car doors a bunch is just not the most low-key thing ever. I got the pocket door idea from Divine on the Road on Instagram. I'll link her page down in the description box for you guys if you would like to check out her Instagram. She also does have a blog and a podcast. Lots of great van life content there. She swears by the pocket door, and I am now a full-fledged pocket door enthusiast. I absolutely love having the separation from the cab to the back. Not only is it great for keeping the back insulated, it's also super great for stealth camping. With that door closed, you essentially cannot see that we're back here at all, and it also just makes it feel so much more homey back here because you can't even see the cab when we have that pocket door closed, and it feels so much less like I am in a van, and I absolutely love it. There is also some additional safety provided with this pocket door. If you lock it before you leave, it makes it a little bit trickier for someone to break into the back of the van, even if they do manage to get into the front. So many great reasons to have a pocket door. Every and any van that I build moving forward will definitely have one. And the last but not least, in any sense, full-time van life essential that I wanted to share with you guys today is our AAA membership. Out of all of the things that I've talked about today, this is the one thing that I think absolutely every van lifer should have. This AAA membership has saved our butts so many times in the past. It has saved us a ton of money, a ton of hassle, and it has gotten us out of some very sticky situations. As some of you guys probably know if you've been watching my channel recently, we did have a pretty severe breakdown happen a little bit earlier this year, but if you missed that, I will link that video up here for you guys. That day was kind of a disaster. It was kind of one of those things that I got on other people's recommendation just in case, but I never really planned on using it too often. And it turns out we use it quite a bit. Last year I think we ended up using all of our tows. So with the membership that we have, because we do auto pay, we get 1 extra tow a year. So I believe this year we get 5. We do also have the RV membership. This just kind of helps us avoid a tow truck not being able to tow a vehicle this large. We have had some issues with them telling us that they do not tow commercial vehicles, even though this is not one. It does look like one. So when you do sign up for your membership, make sure you talk to the AAA service member about the type of vehicle that you have, what you use it for, and make sure that you get the right membership for you. But I definitely do think if you are traveling in a van that you absolutely should have a AAA membership. Alright, and that brings us to the end of my list. Those are the 15 full-time van life essentials that I personally would never ever van life without. If you guys have any extra things that you think that I missed, please drop them in the comments below. I am always down for some new stuff to make my life just a little bit easier. If you guys liked this video, please go ahead and give it a big thumbs up for me, and if you haven't yet, please subscribe to my channel. It really does help support me. I put out new van life videos every Sunday at 3 p.m. and I will see you guys next Sunday. Did I step on your toy? Can you stop hitting the tripod? In our very first hand, we had a hand. I cannot talk today. I haven't been counting these off for you guys at all.